The topic that I chose to speak over in week 4 was over the death penalty, which is known as the maximum penalty. The maximum penalty is, of course, done by lethal injection in most states. Some states still use different methods, however. Lethal injection has been um, known for notoriously in the United States, as we're one of the few countries in the world that actually still do stuff like this. Um, the rest of the world, including Europe and places like that, look down on the United States, because that is one of the things we still do. And while the whole world has moved on and done other things, such as life in prison, there are various number of reasons why the the cons far outweigh the pros in the matter of the death penalty. One of those is price. The price, of course, is it is cheaper to actually house an inmate. Although it doesn't seem like it, it is actually cheaper through all the trials and everything else that is done to sentence them to death. It is cheaper to actually just house them for life instead of wasting all that money through trials and executions and hiring someone and hiring a physician, someone to do the autopsy and everything. Another thing is that it is it is known as something that goes against most religions in the world. Probably most big religions are against killing people. Even if they are murderers, most religions are for forgiving and things like that. And it defeats the purpose to kill someone just because they killed a lot of people. It doesn't really get justice in the eyes of that religion. Another thing is that it actually um, makes the grieving period longer. When someone is sentenced to death, it is a very lengthy and long and just horrible procedure of time. They have to go through different court cases, different things like that, testimonials, stuff like that. And the more they do that, the longer they have to suffer, the longer they are reminded. With just life in prison, they get less time to suffer. They don't have to be reminded of it every single day. Another thing is that it is statistically proven that most people would rather die than spend their life in jail or prison for the rest of their lives. The the thing the studies actually show that most people say I would rather die than spend my life in prison where I would just rot in a jail cell and my family would barely come to see me. There's no fun in that, or there's no ending. Whereas dying would take the easy way out and you would just die instead of having to suffer that long. So if you are looking for revenge for the families, the best way is to, of course, sentence them to life in prison, where they would actually be reminded every day of what they did to the victim's family. Another thing is that it has been proven that most people are Latino or African American, and this has been an important statistic, as in like it has been referred to by politicians a lot because it is seen as something like, oh, black people or Mexican people or any Hispanic or African American race has been accused of things harshly more than white people or Caucasian people would. Another thing is that um, after a study was done, 1 out of every 7 um, death penalty sentences have been misjudged or they have been accused wrongly of a crime that they did not commit. This means, of course, they have been charged with things like murders or things like that, and they have not done it. And sometimes it is early enough to where they catch it, and the person is taken off death row. Other times, however, it is often too late, and often in those cases, the evidence for their innocence doesn't come up till around like 25 or 30 years from the time when they are already killed. Something else is that the killing someone is actually just, morally wrong for people to do. Mostly everyone, unless your brain thinks it feels good to kill someone, thinks it's not good to kill someone. People would not like to kill anyone if they had the choice to. If they didn't know that person was a murderer, they would never try to kill them. So this is why I believe that the death penalty should be changed to life in prison, because there are way more cons against it than pros for it. And that is why I think it is the best alternative instead of the death penalty. Thank you.